So let's begin with our podcast. I would like to know what is a startup in your terms.
A startup, in my opinion, and just really my 2 cents is if you actually have a business idea in your mind, and which is in like what it's really called. It's like in a startup phase. So actually, you don't have really structures on how the business works. You only just have an somehow idea in mind, which you can actually leverage on and say, okay, I is this thing what I have in mind actually doable? Is it solving a problem or is it scalable somehow? This is like, in my opinion, a startup. When you have like an idea, focus on like building the idea till it's somehow working and also scalable. And then right off the bat, it's just going from a startup point to to a structured business. I would say this is the main general term of a startup.
Okay, as you know, we already have a startup, but still, I would like to know if someone wants to start a startup. So, what should be his or her first step?
What I actually learned from the past, because I started 2 companies by myself too, and the thing is, you have to a really clear explanation or presentation even of the idea you or the problem you want to solve. This is, in my opinion, the most general thing what also most of the people fail actually, because they cannot really tell other people what they actually want to fix. And a startup is there who later on will be a business to scale it up to solve a problem which everybody has somehow in some specific fields of an industry.
I would like to know if is idea only sufficient to start a startup.
In my opinion, it's not only like a rare idea you have when you want to start a startup. What actually I did by myself with my actually first startup, I just wanted to make a product in the at the World Wide Web out there in the Web 2 space. I just wanted to make it better because the actual old platform, which made a huge amount of money, actually didn't like handle and solved all the problems what I had, and all these other problems weren't solved through this platform. So I actually used the basis of another company and fixed all the problems they had actually, and turned it into my actual startup. So you don't need like this core initial idea also of like something fresh and something new what could be change a billion lives. You can also make something better than others. In my opinion, the business world, it's like a game. It's like player versus player. If you make better things than other people, more people would jump onto your product and also onto your business. It's definitely a player versus player situation in that space.
If I want to start a startup, it should be a product based or a service based startup. What should be the best way to start? Just start it.
If it's the first startup you actually start, then it should be at some point correlated to a thing which you by yourself can actually do very good. It doesn't need to be a product, but it, like you said, it also can be a service. And that service, when you learn like a few months or years about all the service, you get somehow an expert in the service. It's just coming by itself because you obviously take time to learn stuff. You read a lot. You're every day in the field and you're every time working with this specific terms. At some point when you're in your learning stage, it will click. And then you actually have your thing, what you want to do, service based in front of you, which was actually also a thing I had back in the days when I was doing like service stuff. That was like 6 or 7 years ago even. I did service-based stuff in the beginning. It was pretty technical, which was actually software development in the music industry and also solving problems there. Right off the bat, when you work with like software, you see more and more problems coming up, and you're also then go your own way, find your own idea at the same time, and also start now this idea where you actually took a service in. So it's actually then a service-based startup. At the other hand, I would say a product-based startup is, in my opinion, a bit more complex because you also need to somehow design the product. It doesn't need to be like a pen or something like that as a product. It can also be like a ebook, which is obviously also a product which you can sell, but it's online. You also need somehow to design all this ebook, how it will look like. It can be like digital products. It like I said, it doesn't need to be like AirPods from Apple or so. That is, in my opinion, harder because with this part of a startup, you actually need a team. You cannot really do this by your own. You actually have to need people and work power to actually create something. You need to have creative people to do the creative side. You need designers to actually design the product. You need maybe a marketer. You maybe need somehow who has big contacts, which you hire for different services you need for your product. Like growing a network is also coming along with a product scalable startup. With a service-based startup, you can actually start right out of your own basement with a computer and a laptop and just reach out to people and try by your own learned skills to get this service to an actual product which people want to buy.
Okay, you mean that get comfortable in the environment, build a team, and then go for a product. Am I correct?
That's the core things I would say, yeah. Service-based is mostly done by yourself and can later scale up on to a service business, which also other people work in, like a marketing agency. But product-based, if you do like hard products, once again, I guess you need more. You need a manufacturer, you need an engineer, designer, whatever, everything together in a team. And that is then a bit more complex, obviously, than only just doing a service-based startup right off your basement.